This is Rockslapping Champions. Player 1, playing Tychus, we have Light 'em Up. And player 2, playing Stedman, we have KNZ. So let's quickly have a look at the masteries over here. We have a roughly even split across all masteries for Tychus, and generally speaking, it's not very ideal to do that unless you have a very good reason to do so. So, Tychus attack speed versus Share Grenade cooldown. I was initially an advocate of the Tychus attack speed, but after playing a little bit, I think the Share Grenade cooldown can be very useful, especially if you prefer to have skill spam. Try Outlaw Mastery and the Outlaw spawn timing. They're both really very unimpactful masteries, but I believe the Try Outlaw Mastery is just ever so slightly better. And then Medevac cooldown and Odin cooldown. Again, the Medevac cooldown can be very beneficial, especially if you use your Medevacs frequently for mobility and emergency heals. But yeah, there we go. Over here for Stedman, we have the Gary cooldown, the Stedman bonus, and the Morph. So this is basically a build for hyper-aggressive Super Gary play. So if you do rely on Super Gary a lot, going for this kind of build will allow you to get Super Gary out really fast. And also, if you're using your satellites properly with your satellite overcharges, it can make Super Gary nearly invincible. Tychus is well aware that there is an early attack wave on this mission, so he has put down a total of 4 turrets here with the 2 SCVs, but he actually has not left his SCVs on these turrets, and these turrets do not have that kind of sustain as other turrets do. Tychus' turrets are really not that great, and especially with an army of Zerglings, they can get a surround on these turrets, and these turrets can end up going down. So we can see over here, one turret does go down, second one goes down again, there's a wraparound of Lings, and the third one goes down as well. And now there is one last turret there, and these Zerglings it does end up clearing out all these Zerglings, but that turret is on fire and it is burning down fast. Where is the SCV? There's another SCV that gets sent to try and save that turret, and that turret goes down, and the SCV is just staring at what was left of the turret, or in this case, an X turret. Tychus is basically chilling on this side. Tychus can actually push here. He should have adequate resources to get out his next outlaw, especially with the outlaw cooldown mastery. But I believe those turret losses were relatively impactful in pushing his economy back. You should be salvaging your turrets and you should not lose them. So the early attack wave on this mission is kind of difficult to deal with if you were playing a slow commander. But Tychus is, Tychus comes out at 3 minutes, and the attack wave hits anywhere between 2 minutes and 35 and 2 minutes and 55 seconds. So it should not be too difficult to handle that. Over here, Gary has been spawned now and casts a bunch of, I believe they're called Egorbs, at the enemy base. And since he's already cleared out the first Void Shard area, he's going to start pushing into this side now and start clearing out the enemy defenders in that area instead. First set of Void Shards have spawned, or the first Void Shard, so to speak, has spawned. And Tychus is basically just chilling over here and admiring the Stedalite. And as you can see here, Stedman has already taken his expansion. Tychus has not done so yet, and that is kind of important. Taking your expansion as quickly as possible is one of the core aspects of co-op, like figuring out how to take your expansion as early as possible without losing the game. And sometimes it is viable to delay your expansion, but on this mission your expansion is uncontested. You should be looking at an optimized build order to try and take the expansion as quickly as possible. So and now Tychus has spawned his first outlaw, the legendary Nikara. So I want to talk about Nikara just a little bit while Super Gary just destroys everything over here. Nikara first, for any regular brutal mission, is generally a suboptimal pick. And the reason why is, if you are trying to play as efficiently as possible, you do not actually need the heal that Nikara is able to provide at any point in the game. Going for an outlaw like Rattlesnake gives you a little bit more DPS, but it also gives you a little bit of heal, and that heal should be more than enough to sustain you through the entire mission. Especially as when you get your armor upgrades, your outlaws actually get significantly tankier, and you should not really face any real problems in forces here. Super Gary is pushing now into the third base. He's already cleared out the second set of Void Shard areas, and yeah, so you really don't need Nikara out. Now there are certain situations where you will need Nikara. An obvious selection here is mutations. So self-destruction, lava burst, Black Death, All these mutators that deal extra damage, they are prime picks, and going for Nikara first can sometimes be actually a smart choice. So don't be hesitant to select Nikara first, but just in general brutal missions, unless you are, just want to kick back and relax. If you're not trying to play hyper efficiently, you should not be going for Nikara first at any point. You should not be going for Nikara at all in any regular brutal mission. So So Tychus has cleared out that void shard, and Sirius now has been spawned, and he is attacking these rocks with a bunch of SCVs, because this is indeed Rockslapping Champions, and this is rock poking and rock lasering, and that also counts as rock slapping. There is another attack wave now that has spawned, and Nikara does get surrounded by a bunch of units here, and this is where the Tychus Shredder Grenade can actually one-shot a lot of these units and keep them alive, but he doesn't seem to be paying attention and ends up losing Nikara and Tychus to that attack wave, which is not very ideal. Super Gary does recall back and drops his Ego Orb here, essentially one-shotting a large chunk of this attack wave. There are a bunch of Corruptors here, but you can see these Mutalisks are not actually able to kill these Corruptors ever. The healing zone from Stetman is very, very effective at keeping these units alive, and this is why the Stet Zone bonuses can be very, very beneficial to Stetman. But Sirius has actually finished clearing out this side, so he is here, and I think... Does he want to go attack the Void Shard? I know he wants to go attack the Void Shard. Nope, he's interested in the Hive. Nope, he changed his mind. Now he's going back there. Drops a bunch of turrets here now and go up and try and clear that Void Shard. This base has been essentially cleaned out. Stetman is basically just going to send his Corruptors, and none of these units are going to be able to hit the Corruptors, so he's going to be laughing. Unfortunately, Tychus is getting left behind on this next phase because he can't actually reach these next set of Void Shards, because I don't believe he has a medevac platform available. What Tychus can do over here to try and be useful for his ally is if he sees this kind of play where his ally is bypassing enemy camps, because there's a large enemy camp on this side, what he can do is get his medevac platforms out, and he has his medevac mastery as well, so he's well aware that medevacs exist and he wants to use them. But what he can do is just put down a bunch of medevac platforms and just medevac himself up here, and he'll be able to deal with this set. But he has opted not to do so, and Stetman is already starting to clear this last enemy base over here. His Corruptors are on here, and they will be clearing up this Void Shard. And now there is another attack wave that has come, and Tychus gets lost somehow. He wanted to go up here first, following that Infestor. The Infestor was just trolling him. I don't know what that Infestor is doing over there. I think he's just sitting in the back just to troll Tychus. And there's a little bit of aggro here. Nikara on the front tanking. And now this next attack wave has been spawned. And there are a bunch of Corruptors here that are getting attacked by the Mutalisks. A little bit of kiting from Amon. And those Corruptors essentially have gone down. There's one last Corruptor left, but no, it ends up dying anyway. There is another attack wave that has spawned. No, this was not an attack wave. It's just a part of that attack wave. And Tychus drops his Odin on here to try and clear out the Zerglings. Over here, Nikara finds herself lost and cornered, moving back and forth, ping-ponging between the wall and the pirate ship. Doesn't know where to go. And now Nikara, casts a heal, tries to survive that. And will she survive? I don't think she will, because those missiles have a long range, and she ends up going down. So far, Tychus has died once, and Nikara has died twice. And now we have these Corruptors on the side as well. And Tychus now wants his revenge, sends his Odin over to this pirate ship. Odin doesn't really have a very great anti-air damage, but it is going to be a relatively decent tank for this pirate ship. But nice move out here from Sirius. Dodges that. He knows the pirate ship does a lot of damage, and as you can see here, relatively okay for Stetman. Stetman is able to clear out these things, and Sirius goes down as well. So far, Sirius has died once, Tychus has died once, and Nikara twice. And Stetman has pretty much already cleared this side out. I think this mission is going to be ending very, very soon. His Corruptors are just pretty much invincible with the Stet Zone bonus on here. And yeah, we have Nux and Tychus and Nikara. I believe Sirius had gone down, once. So no more casualties. A little bit of a poke here on Tychus. But I think they'll be able to take out this pirate ship relatively quickly. I think probably before the mission ends. But it's going to be kind of close here. No, it's not. That the last Void Shard has a lot of HP, and that Leviathan is there as well, wreaking a little bit of havoc. Another Egorp goes down, and that ends up cleaning out a large number of the smaller air units here. That Leviathan is relatively strong, but there is some kind of focused fire here from Stetman's ability, and that is the last Void Shard down in 14 minutes and 30 seconds. And that is GG.